To be honest, this week has been a huge disappointment. Because all week long, we were promised a fairy tale.
California Chrome will try to become the 12th horse to ever win the famed Triple Crown.
Can California Chrome do it?
Godspeed and speed to that great horse.
Godspeed! Godspeed, California Chrome! Run! Run like a horse! By which I mean as fast as you can until that tiny man balancing on your back stops hitting you with a stick. But sadly, it was not meant to be.
California Chrome lost some of its shine at the Belmont Stakes when Tonalist crossed the finish line to win that race.
Who the fuck is Tonalist? That's not the horse I wanted. I wanted a different horse. Fuck this horse. If that horse is Tonalist, it's hard to tell, they're all horses, but fuck that horse! But all was not lost, because whilst, yes, yesterday did not give us a Triple Crown winner, it did give us, in California Chrome's co-owner Steve Coburn, the Secretariat of Sore Losers.
I look at it this way. If you can't make enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby, you can't run in the other two races. And it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Because this is not fair to these horses.
Exactly. We need to treat these horses fairly by breeding them until they have the structural integrity of a Jenga tower, and then when they inevitably collapse, shooting them in the head. Fairly. Well done, Coburn, well done. Because it is not easy. It is not easy to be the least classy person at a racetrack. But, you know, let's cut him a break, actually. I'm sure it was just the heat of the moment. Let's see what he said this morning once he'd had a chance to sleep it off and come to his senses.
You figure it out. And I mean, you ask yourself, would it be fair if I played basketball with a child in a wheelchair?
Well, I guess that depends. How good is the child's outside shot? And are you as bad at basketball as you are at analogies? Meanwhile, in other absurd competitions, there was an amazing moment last week on the German version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Although the full title in German is Who Dares Have the Hubris to Assume They Deserve Great Wealth for Mere Excellence in Trivia? So, beautiful language. It happened when the contestant, Wolfgang Boschbach, just like honey off the tongue. It happened when he decided to use his lifeline to call German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
A German lawmaker tried Merkel for his phone-a-friend lifeline.
God, who should I call now except the Chancellor? I don't know if she's busy right now.
Let me answer that for you. She is. She is busy. She's not in an important meeting with the Greek finance minister saying, do you mind if I leave my phone on because, you know, the phone-a-friend option? I'm the friend. They've got any questions regarding the IMF or Doctor Who is me. Please tell me she did not answer that phone.
When the show called her, you know, as their lifeline, they got her voicemail twice.
Good. Because the only thing worse than answering would have been if you'd answered it saying, hi, it's Angela, I can't hear you, it's so loud in this club, I'm so wasted right now. Woo! And speaking of Germans losing things, it was the 70th anniversary of D-Day this week. Okay. It was actually one of two major anniversaries, the other being the 25th anniversary of the protest in Tiananmen Square. Not that you would know that if you lived in China.
China's government has done its best to erase the massacre from their history books.
Try searching Tiananmen Square on China's heavily monitored internet, and results are censored.
The 25 years passed and we still don't know what happened. I think that's not cool, I think.
Not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Not cool? Wearing socks and sandals is not cool. Ordering fries for the table and then eating them all, that's not cool. Erasing a massacre is chilling. Now, protesters have tried to subvert the government using phrases like May the 35th instead of June the 4th, but that just caused the authorities to clamp down even harder.
The list of banned words gets longer and longer. So this year, words that were banned included things like today, this day, sensitive day, even the phrase when spring turns to summer.
No, you can't ban when spring turns to summer. I need full access to the Chinese market if my romance novel is going to succeed. And that is... No one wants that. Nobody wants that. But the most ingenious attempt at subversion was this. When a Chinese soap opera actress's supposed sex video leaked last month, an activist group edited the video to add in messages encouraging people to show up at Tiananmen Square for the anniversary. That is brilliant. Can you even imagine how smart we would be if we snuck information into our pornography? I want you so bad. Actually, it's badly, and that's just one of 6 grammar rules I'm anxious to cover during this fornication. Unfortunately, pornography is illegal in China, so the government took it down. So what we need to sneak the message out there would be something both legal and massively popular among China's youth.
Friends lives on in the heart of the Chinese capital, where a Central Perk replica's been built by Du Xin.
We want to be like one of the characters in the show. So.
It's about the caring between friends.
I'm crazy about friends.
Yeah. China is, for some reason, absolutely obsessed with friends. And did you know that the Chinese character for obsession with friends is the same as the one for opportunity? Because, with that in mind, this might help young people in China remember Tiananmen Square next year.
Gentlemen, pick your category. Fears and pet peeves. What is Monica's biggest pet peeve?
The government killing people.
Correct. Ladies?
Same category.
According to Chandler...
How many died in the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests?
Anywhere from 200 to 2,600.
That is correct.
But why'd they kill those guys? They wanted free speech and government accountability.
Hang in there, China. We'll be there for you. Now, moving on, I would like to talk to you about the sausage principle. The theory that says if you love something, never find out how it was made. Well, tonight, I would like to show you my sausage. Wait. This is my sausage.
The 2014 FIFA World Cup.
Oh, my God! OK, the World Cup starts this week, and I am both excited and extremely conflicted about it. Now, I know, in America, soccer is something you pick your 10-year-old daughter up from. But for me and everyone else on Earth, it's a little more important.
Soccer had become Brazil's religion. In Colombia, soccer was a religion.
Football is a religion here.
Soccer or football, like we say, it's a religion.
Yeah, and they're not exaggerating. When David Beckham got a tattoo of Jesus, the response of most soccer fans was, "Oh, that's huge for Jesus. That's a big deal for him." Here's my conflict. The World Cup is one of my favourite things, but it's organised by these guys, FIFA. You either know it as the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, or that soccer video game you have. But for American viewers who may never have encountered them, FIFA is a comically grotesque organisation. In fact, telling someone about the inner workings of FIFA for the first time is a bit like showing someone 2 Girls, 1 Cup. You do it mainly so you can watch the horrified expression on people's faces. Because let's start where FIFA's current World Cup is about to take place, Brazil. Brazilians are excited about everything. This is how they celebrate the fact that it's just about to be Lent. They love the concept of giving up chocolate temporarily. They're also the biggest soccer fans on Earth, so they must be thrilled at the prospect of hosting the World Cup.
There's been months of unrest in some of the city's favelas or slums, with clashes between police and residents. Here, people demonstrated against Brazil holding the World Cup.
That makes no sense. Why would you be unhappy hosting the thing that you love the most in all the world?
The government has spent more than $11 billion getting ready.
The United States team will play its second game here in the city of Manaus, in this brand new $270 million stadium. Manaus is so remote that it's almost impossible to reach by car, which is why officials had to have the stadium materials brought in by boat, shipped across the Atlantic from Portugal and up the Amazon River.
OK, that does seem like a waste of money, especially when you consider that that stadium is only going to be used for 4 World Cup games. There's also no team in Manaus that can fill it afterwards, at which point it becomes the world's most expensive bird toilet. No wonder Brazilians are so upset, especially when you think about what they are actually getting in return.
Well, and they're going to make money as well as the money they're spending.
Actually, FIFA makes the money. This is where the controversy is. The country usually doesn't make money. FIFA, the organisation of the World Cup, is who makes the money.
Yeah, Brazil, let me put this in terms you might understand. Think of money as pubic hair and FIFA as wax. Oh, they're going to be all over you during the World Cup, but when they go, they're taking all the money with them, including some from places you didn't even know you had any money, leaving you teary-eyed going, Jesus, what happened here? What happened? I'm never doing this again. Because here are FIFA's tax demands for prospective host countries.
It is FIFA and its FIFA subsidiaries that are fully exempt from any tax whatsoever levied at whatever level, state level, municipality level, all sorts of taxes, consumption taxes, income taxes, you name it, it's all exempt.
That's right. By Brazil's own estimates, they're allowing FIFA to forego $250 million in taxes. Somewhere, Wesley Snipes is going, so soccer was the answer. Oh, God. It seems so obvious now. Now, FIFA says they leave a lot behind, which they do, like new laws. Because, you see, once upon a time, Brazil did this.
In 2003, the Brazilian government banned alcohol from stadiums because of the enormously high death rate amongst fans.
Well, that seems like a good idea. Potentially life-saving, even. The only problem is Budweiser is one of FIFA's key sponsors, and they sell a product they reflexively insist on calling beer. And FIFA seemed anxious to protect Budweiser from a law designed to protect people, which is why FIFA's Secretary-General went to Brazil with a simple message.
I'm sorry to say, and maybe I look a bit arrogant, but that's something we'll not negotiate. I mean, there will be, and there must be, as part of the law, the fact that we have the right to sell beer.
Yes, maybe I look a bit arrogant, but how you say, fuck your laws and your public safety. Is that right? And the amazing thing is here, FIFA won. They successfully pressured Brazil into passing a so-called Budweiser bill, allowing beer sales in soccer stadiums. And at this point, you can either be horrified by that or relieved that FIFA wasn't also sponsored by cocaine and chainsaws. And Brazil is lucky. Brazil's lucky. At least they just had FIFA force alcohol on them. When South Africa hosted the World Cup 4 years ago, FIFA forced the creation of the FIFA World Cup courts, which sound funny. You know, it's like going to the World Series and being dragged in front of Judge Philly Fanatic. Except FIFA's courts were no joke. 2 Zimbabweans who robbed foreign journalists on a Wednesday were arrested on a Thursday and began 15-year jail sentences the next day. That is unsettlingly fast. That's like when you order Chinese food and it comes 5 minutes later. Oh, thanks very much, but that was too quick. You didn't have time to make this properly. And there is a certain irony in FIFA setting up any kind of justice system, given the scandals that have dogged it over the years.
Football's governing body has tried to tackle its shady inner workings by suspending 2 executives on corruption charges.
The FIFA scandal rumbles on. Jack Warner, who was at the centre of bribery accusations, has resigned as vice president.
There's been so many corruption scandals that FIFA have had to deal with.
Bribery and FIFA go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, but they shouldn't, though. Peanut butter and jelly are supposed to go together. FIFA and bribery should go together like peanut butter and a child with a deadly nut allergy. No, Devon, no! It's for your brother! And if you think FIFA can't get any more cartoonishly evil. This is their headquarters' actual boardroom. That's right. FIFA apparently modelled where they meet on the war room from Dr. Strangelove. That is Exhibit A for an organisation that does not give a shit what you think about them. And yet, the head of FIFA maintains that they are merely a humble, non-profit organisation.
We are a non-profit organisation, and we have to remain a non-profit organisation.
A non-profit with over $1 billion in the bank.
Yeah, but this is a reserve.
A reserve? A reserve of $1 billion. When your rainy day fund is so big, you've got to check it for swimming cartoon ducks. You might not be a not-profit anymore. That, by the way, the man you just saw, is Sepp Blatter, and even his name should have been a red flag. If your name is Sepp, at the bare minimum, you've strangled someone in a bar fight. That's just a fact. And let me just give you a taste of Sepp Blatter as a human being.
Recently, he was asked, how should women's soccer be made more popular? He said, well, they should wear shorter shorts.
Great idea. Put the ladies in hot pants, call it Foxy Soccer, and while you're at it, tighten up the jerseys, maybe replace the ball with a plate of hot wings, and fuck it, let's just open a Hooters. FIFA, the humble non-profit, even recently spent $27 million to fund United Passions, a fictionalised version of their history, starring, for some reason, Tim Roth as Sepp Blatter. And this movie, like FIFA itself, looks terrible.
Will be the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. FIFA.
The first World Cup will be held in Uruguay.
You have everything you need to run our family. But you know, the slightest error and you're out.
Who makes a sports film where their heroes are the executives? And the crazy thing is, you don't need 2 hours and Tim Roth, because the greatest film about Sepp Blatter has already been made. It's 10 seconds long, and it's on YouTube. That is... wonderfully, that is the one time you can genuinely say, I'm glad that old man fell off that stage. But perhaps the worst part of FIFA is not even its past or its present, it's its future. Because the host of the 2022 World Cup has already been decided.
The winner to organise the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
Qatar? There's between 1 and 50 reasons why that is an awful idea.
Summer temperatures in Qatar can reach some 50 degrees Celsius, a difficult environment to hold a professional sporting event outdoors.
50 degrees Celsius is 122 degrees Fahrenheit. You are hosting the World Cup somewhere where soccer cannot physically be played. That's like if the NFL chose to host the Super Bowl in a lake. Now, there are now allegations that some FIFA executives took bribes to put the World Cup in Qatar, and I hope that's true, because otherwise it makes literally no sense. And not just because of the weather, but because of the working conditions.
Qatar is a slave state in the 21st century.
A migrant worker can't leave the country without an exit visa. That visa has to be approved by his employer.
Who has your passport? So you're trapped here. Yes.
We've got coffins coming home every day. More than a worker per day on average is dying.
Conservatively, from the figures of just 2 countries, India and Nepal, more than 4,000 workers will die before a ball is kicked off in 2022.
So what you're essentially saying is the Qatar World Cup is shaping up to be the most deadly Middle East construction project since this one. And by this point, I hope I've proven to you that FIFA is just appalling. And yet, here's their power. I am still so excited about the World Cup next week. And it's very hard to justify how I can get so much joy from an organisation that's caused so much pain, other than going back to right where we started.
Soccer or football, like we say, it's a religion.
But it's not just that. It's an organised religion, and FIFA is its church. Just think about it. Its leader is infallible. It compels South American countries to spend money they don't have building opulent cathedrals, and it may ultimately be responsible for the deaths of shocking numbers of people in the Middle East. But for millions of people around the world like me, it is also the guardian of the only thing that gives their lives any meaning. And if that comparison does not make Americans love soccer, then frankly, nothing will. And now, this.
And now, Chris Matthews reminds everyone who he used to work for.
I worked in the business of politics back when you had people like O'Neill, Tip O'Neill, my boss. I worked for Tip O'Neill, as everybody knows, my great boss, Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill, my old boss. Tip O'Neill, my old boss. And I got to go because I was Tip's guy. Tip O'Neill. By the way, my old boss, Tip O'Neill, loved the Golden Girls.
And finally tonight, a lighter subject, Syria. For 3 years now, Bashar Al-Assad has been brutally clamping down on his own people, killing more than 100,000 people and displacing millions. And yet, Assad is still there. He's like herpes or a prairie home companion. At this point, he's clearly never fucking going away. And this week, in the midst of the bloodbath, he even had the barefaced balls to stage an election. Guess how that turned out?
According to new reports this afternoon, President Bashar Al-Assad allegedly won nearly 89% of the votes.
89%? That is too high. All dictators should know a rigged election should be like a pleasant spring day. High 60s, low 70s. Now, look, Bashar al-Assad is a maniac, and nothing we can do is going to stop him. We even tried taking away his chemical weapons last year. Guess what happened?
The Syrian regime may have found a loophole. Chlorine gas, which can be used legitimately in water treatment, has also allegedly been used in recent government bombing attacks. The poison gas burns the lungs and can be deadly.
And we're not going to do anything about that, because the opposition are literally made up of 1,000 distinct armed units, and any regime change is likely to be followed by ethnic cleansing. And I know you're thinking, well, it's the Middle East. I'm sure everything will be fine. It always is. But honestly, this time, I'm not so sure. Basically, we are stuck. And Syria is at the mercy of this guy. So if we're forced to live in a perpetual nightmare, let's at least learn something about the man who's put us there. What is this supervillain's backstory?
Growing up, he was a polite boy who never lorded his status over his friends. Assad ended up studying ophthalmology in London and was known more for his love of volleyball and rock music than for his interest in Syrian politics.
OK, that's a surprise. A volleyball music-loving ophthalmologist was not the backstory I was expecting. Although, when you look at his face, it does actually make sense, because he could not look any more like an ophthalmologist than that. So why didn't he just follow his dream, his incredibly boring dream, and do that? Because he should be treating an 8-year-old's case of pink eye right now. And the tragic thing is that actually could have happened if it wasn't for a cruel twist of fate.
In 1994, Assad was suddenly called back to Syria after his older brother was killed in a car accident. He was now next in line to rule.
So he was actually second choice behind his older brother. And we're just lucky to have avoided the third Assad brother, Dustin, who's such a screw-up, he forgot to wish Aunt Linda a happy birthday. Fuck you, Dustin! She only turned 75 once. Look, I'm not a psychologist, but I would say that Assad has some family issues.
The strong figure in this family after the death of Hafiz al-Assad was Anisa, the wife of Hafiz al-Assad, the mother of Bashar, and she was known early on in this rebellion to urge Bashar to crack down even harder, to live up to the legacy of his father.
So his mother is pressuring him.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's just perfect. So now we've got a brutal dictator with mommy issues. Next thing we're going to hear about him, it's his bedwetting problem and the fact that he won't go anywhere without his whoobie. In fact, the more you learn about Assad, the more you're forced to come to terms with the fact that he's half mass murderer and half your creepy sophomore year roommate. Because 2 years ago, a trove of his emails leaked, and all of a sudden the world had a fascinating glimpse into his music taste.
And as the people of Syria has been fighting and dying for their freedom, their president, Bashar Al-Assad, apparently has been ordering pop music off iTunes. His playlist includes Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO.
LMFAO? So we're dealing with someone with the political instincts of a young Joseph Stalin and the music tastes of a 14-year-old girl from Orange County named Tiffany. That song is so hot right now. Among Assad's other iTunes purchases were, and this is true, a song from Right Said Fred, the British sensation that you might remember from this.
I'm too sexy for your party, too sexy for your party.
That is a great song, by the way. But it should not be on a dictator's playlist. A dictator's power is in their mystique. When you picture Assad, he wants you to hear this. But now when you look at him, all you should be able to hear is this.
I'm sexy and I know it.
And that's the point. That's the point. Yes, he's a monster, but he's also a moron, which is why it's so frustrating that we're powerless to do anything to hurt him. If only there was something, however small, that we could do. I mean, I guess we could find something he loves and turn it against him. We could track down, let's say, Right Said Fred, and we could, hypothetically, fly them all the way over here from London to perform a specially rewritten anti-Assad version of their greatest hits. But would it really be worth all that time and expense just for the momentary catharsis of mildly irritating one of the worst people on the planet? Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you one of Bashar al-Assad's favourite bands, Right Said Fred!
Too awful for this earth, too awful for this earth, so awful it hurts. Your face has barely got a chin, it's barely got a chin, you look just like him. So please, stop downloading our tracks, stop downloading our tracks, here's your money back. You're a monster, we hate your regime, and we think you should be tried for war crimes. Yeah, for war crimes. Yeah, for war crimes. Yeah, you probably should be on trial for war crimes. You're an ophthalmologist. An ophthalmologist. Hey, can you read this? You're just a walking taint. The opposite of saint. At least Hitler could paint. You're a monster and a volleyball fan. But more than that, you're an asshole. You're an asshole who's afraid of his mum. You're a murdering, mum-fearing asshole. You're an asshole, yeah. Everyone thinks you're an asshole. All together now! You're an asshole, yeah. Everyone thinks you're an asshole. Here we go! Please stop listening to our song.
Yes! That's our show for
Thank
tonight.
you!
That's our show!
Thank you.
Thank you to Right Said Fred. Thanks for watching.